Hey everyone, happy day, whatever day you're watching this video. We're happy to have you join us again on this platform. So today we're going to talk about a very important topic as we have Women's Health and Fitness Day coming up later this month, actually this week. And we have World Heart Day coming up this week also. We are going to talk about exercise and pregnancy. Why? Because there are still so many misconceptions and misconceived ideas about being fit during pregnancy. Shout out to my fit moms out there. You don't have to be buff. You just have to have a commitment to being fit. You are a fit mom. We love you guys. So let's talk about, for those of us who are still kind of struggling with fitness, and are still dealing with some barriers for fitness and kind of want a better understanding as to why you should be getting fit during pregnancy. What are the benefits of being fit? And this, I will say, I know having a healthy lifestyle is not easy. I am not here to say it's an easy transition, but I'm not here to say starting a new fitness regimen is easy at all. I'm here to give you the information that I think will help you in your journey. Once you understand what the benefits are, it sometimes make it a little bit easier to be motivated to do something. And that sometimes there are ways that we can be fit that we don't even think about. So I'm hoping I'll be able to give you that information today to encourage you and to excite you and to motivate you and myself to be fit. Okay, so let's talk about fitness and pregnancy and the postpartum period. So we're not going to end with just the first 3 trimesters. We're also going to talk about the 4th trimester. And you know what? Let's talk about before pregnancy also. All right. So one of the most important things, so when women come to me for their preconception counseling, one of the things we talk about is their lifestyle, their health lifestyle. And one of the things that people don't realize, as much as we talk about your fertility and what's going on with your menstrual cycle and what's going on with your family history and other items that we will review, including immunizations, during your preconceptual counseling, it's also really important to come up with a health regimen that is a good match for you. And the goal of this is not only so that you come up with that health regimen, take your folic acid before you even start to try to get pregnant, hint, hint, but also so that that regimen that you come up with and that works for you will continue to work for you during pregnancy. It makes it so much easier to have that transition. And then ultimately at the end of pregnancy in the postpartum period. So during the preparation time period, we talk about what diet is really good. And there's no real, you know, diet that is the go-to diet. It's really about healthy eating and getting a diversity of nutrients into your body. And I'm sure our nutritionist will talk about the details of what that looks like at another time. So I'm not going to go into details now, but you really want to have a colorful plate. That's basically what it boils down to. I did recently on Healthy Bump Club, we had a 5-color challenge, and basically living a lifestyle where you have that 5-color challenge is really key and something that's easily adaptable that you can use and still, and as a result of it, have a healthier plate or healthier eating style. We know that people who eat 5 or more colors per day tend to be healthier, as simple as it is. So the more varied in coloration your plate of foods that you eat, the more likely that you're going to be just a healthier person. We know that different foods give us different nutrients. And we know also that certain foods are actually disease-fighting foods. Why not use foods as medicine? It is the simplest way to fight disease and to prevent disease and to control diseases. So even if you are already diabetic, hypertensive, that is not a reason to kind of give up. Not at all, right? Even though you are or may have a chronic condition, perhaps you have an autoimmune condition. We shared our stories on a previous episode, but you still have the ability to live with your condition and live healthy. Why? Because some of these conditions, like diabetes, like high blood pressure, have secondary outcomes. They have impact on certain organs and ultimately lead to end organ disease. So even if you have a condition, you still have the ability to prevent end organ disease and control your condition and live longer and a better quality of life. So during the preconception period, you do want to take your folic acid. You do want to make sure you're having a healthy diet with good, healthy fats, your avocados, your olives, get that nice, healthy, varied plate with your grains and your fruits and vegetables, and your protein base doesn't have to be animal-based protein. And if you're not an animal eater, make sure you're getting certain vitamins that are predominantly in animal products from other sources, whether supplementation or plant-based sources that may also have some content of that vitamin. Okay, so now that we have completed our preconception time period, and we know that we should be exercising, and hey, everybody, unless it's a contraindication based on a medical condition, should be moving and exercising. It is movement is, whether you think of it as a symbolically or in actuality, movement is key for life. So on a symbolic basis, movement is key for life, but on a physical basis, we cannot underestimate movement being key for life. And here's the thing. Sometimes I get people who are like, oh, I move all the time. I'll make sure I walk a lot when I'm at work, and I make sure that I keep moving. I don't park near the grocery store. I park the furthest. I don't fight people for that first spot in the grocery store. Some of you out there, y'all be fighting for that first spot. It is in your health benefit that you get the further spot and walk the extra distance to the store or wherever you're going. It is to your benefit to do that. Okay. And also, why stress out and get in an argument with somebody? That doesn't even help your health anyway. So that being said, there is a difference between being physically active, which you get credit for. I mean, okay, we'll give you some credit, but that is not the same as the health benefits that we get from exercising. And that's because the intensity of exercise is way different than just casually walking for your health, or going up the stairs at work or at school instead of taking the elevator. Those are all great things, and I do not want to discourage you from doing that, but I do want you to understand that there's a difference between the health benefits of both. Okay. That being said, let's talk about what the expectation is. So the expectation is that most adults should be moving at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous, intense exercise, however you want to break that up. What's really important to know is that most people will break it up into like 30-minute sessions, 5 days a week. But if you're kind of like, I don't have a straight 30 minutes because I'm so busy, or I'm in a season when I'm extremely busy, then you can actually break that up into 10-minute sessions. So the studies have shown that the health benefits of exercising 10 minutes at a time is the same as doing your 30-minute sessions. So if you're, for example, you may not have the 30 minutes together, but before you go into work, you may have a quick 10 minutes that you could do pat, 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 something really quick, then that's great. And then a 10 minutes at lunch. Sometimes we all need to decompress after the morning at work. You may better get 10 minutes of whoop, 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 do a couple of jumping jacks, get the heart going, get things flowing. And there you go. And then at the end of the day, guess what? We are celebrating making it through the day. So let's do a couple movements, turn on some music for 10 minutes. Let's dance it out and let's get some movement going. This is something I've personally had to incorporate, because sometimes I just really I go through those seasons when I don't have that 30 minutes or don't feel like I have that 30 minutes. And so I try to okay, I may not have 30 minutes right now, but I do have 10 minutes, and 10 minutes is better than nothing. And for those who have not been fit before and have not been exercising, it's okay. Ain't no shame in your game. It is never too late to start. And sometimes it's not hitting 30 minutes. That's okay. If you start with 5 minutes per day, guess what? That is 5 minutes more than you were doing before. And those 5 minutes of movement do have a positive impact on your health because it gets you going. We know that exercise has multiple benefits, right? We know that exercise, in addition to strengthening our bodies and making sure that we're stronger and making sure that when we trip, we're able to stabilize ourselves really quickly. All those agility exercises that the football teams do, that's so that when something comes and impacts them, they're able to stabilize much quicker and have a less traumatic impact from that impact. Got what I'm saying? And then, there are functional benefits, being able to do simple things like, carry your grocery bags from the car to the house and not have to go get a trolley because you don't have the strength to lift. being able to open a bottle because your hands aren't weak, being able to put the luggage in the overbin because you have that upper body strength to be able to do that, being able to squat down to the floor without having coming up with your knees going, okay. So we want to be able to do all those things. And when you feel your knees are sometimes weak, it's because they have not the muscles around them. The muscles around your knees need to be exercised. So it keeps that space open, that kneecap open, so that things are rubbing together. Okay, so it's very important to keep moving. And also, we underestimate the impact of movement on our mental health. So, for my patients who are challenged with anxiety and depression issues, we actually incorporate exercise as a part of their treatment regimen because we know that it is so helpful for the mental health. Okay. So that's part of the regimen. And then socializing, bonding, if you exercising with your girlfriends. I used to, in fact, I need to probably restart this. I used to go for walks with my girlfriends and be able to, that's when we would catch up and, girl, how your life doing? What's going on with so-and-so? What's going on with that? So we were able to catch up while we were hiking and get some exercise. So it's great bonding activity. Okay. And then for women who are pregnant, the ability to endure pregnancy. But how about childbirth? Childbirth is no joke, okay? It is the most rigorous activity on earth, period. It has impact on your body, on almost every aspect of your body. To be able to push life into this world, it requires a lot of strength, tenacity, endurance, all of the above. So if you think a marathon is hard, and I've personally never run a marathon, not really interested in it, but I recognize that it's hard to do, right? Pregnancy, childbirth is even harder. And sort of the demands that you have to meet as a result of being a new mom or a mom for the second or third or fourth time, in addition to the experience of childbirth, is it's so enduring, it's so rigorous, and it's so really one of the greatest challenges to your body and to your health. So you want to be able to endure. You want to be able to endure childbirth, endure the recovery of childbirth, which also has its physical challenges. And that's why exercising during pregnancy is so important. So it helps you to be healthier, helps to minimize chronic diseases also in and outside of pregnancy. So you're less likely to become hypertensive, less likely to become diabetic if you are physically active. So we've gone through the mental health benefits, we've gone through the physical benefits, we've gone through the benefits of chronic disease management, and we've gone to the benefits of being able to endure labor and have an easier birth. So women who are exercising more often are more likely to have an easier birth experience. If that doesn't convince you enough, because I know some of your moms out there, unless I put something about the baby in here, you gonna be tuning out. It's all right. We gonna work on prioritizing us, putting that oxygen mask on first. And then as a result of you getting your oxygen, then guess what? All your babies are going to be fine. They're going to be healthier. They're going to be even better because you are in a better space. So don't forget to put your oxygen mask on. But for those who are not convinced yet that they need to put their oxygen mask on first, let's talk about the benefits for babies. So we know that women who are exercising are more likely to have easier childbirth, right? So easier childbirth for mom, easier childbirth for guess who? Babies. So there are some studies that indicate that babies are probably less likely to have fetal distress issues as a result of moms who have been exercising. There's also research that is showing that guess what? The heart, as we approach World Heart Day, the heart of babies are healthier. Their hearts are healthier as a result of moms who exercise. And then also we are showing that there are long-term benefits to moms exercise. Okay, this is really deep. Sit down, y'all. Y'all may want to sit down for this one. So there are studies that are showing, okay, get this, that the healthier mom is, the more she exercises, the better the outcome of the baby, not just at childbirth. So we know, for example, that babies born to moms who are exercising are more likely to be of healthier weight, So the more mom exercise and more healthier her lifestyle, the weight of the baby tend not to be too underweight or too overweight, which both have their issues. The placenta is nice and vascular and getting good oxygenation and good nutrients and all that beautiful things. But then we're also showing that there may be impact in the motor skills. So moms who exercise, babies may more quickly have better coordination earlier in life, have better neural development, right? And better neural development, better movement, earlier movement. Also, so the earlier they move and just healthier they are as kids, guess what? Lead to healthier adolescence. Studies are showing that as adolescents, they're less likely to be obese, they're more likely to be healthier. And healthier adolescents leads to what? Healthier adults. And healthier adults lead to what? Healthier moms in the next generation who then do the same thing for the next generation. So literally, y'all, we can break multi-generational issues in our health issues in our families by being healthier during pregnancy. Ain't that deep? We can literally change generations to come if we are able to support moms to be healthier. So for moms who needed convincing to be more fit, listen to that. You can literally change your entire bloodline. Turn off some genes and help your kids to live healthier lives. And as a result of they living healthier lives, their kids will also more likely live healthier lives. And maybe we can combat this whole obesity crisis that we have going on in the United States of America and in many countries around the world. Let's keep moving, y'all. All right. So you may ask, well, what can I do? Like, I've seen some images of moms lifting 300 pounds during pregnancy. Ain't that kind of crazy or dangerous? No, not necessarily. So you go with the intensity of workout that you've done before with some exceptions. So if you were a weightlifter before pregnancy, guess what? She's okay to lift weight. I have pregnant patients lifting more weights than I do because they were just always fit. And so pregnancy is not the time to start a new regimen at all. So if you were not the person that would exercise, don't play yourself. Come on, child. Don't play yourself during pregnancy. Don't do it. You're gonna hurt yourself. And keep in mind, there are changes that occur in the body. You're looser, your ligaments are more relaxed. Your blood flow is different, your respirations are different. So you don't want to start a regimen that you have never experienced before during pregnancy, but you do want to stay fit during pregnancy, right? So a couple things, and some of these things you guys already know. I know I don't have to tell y'all. I know for sure that the HPV village out there are not jumping out of planes when they're pregnant. I know y'all are not scuba diving when you're pregnant. I know this. I know y'all are not doing horseback riding when you're pregnant. I know this. I know that you are not skiing when you're pregnant. I know this. I know y'all ain't doing them crazy things, right? I know you are not going to do anything that changes your altitude significantly. I know you're not going to do anything that will cause impact or high chances of you having a fall. I know you're not doing gymnastics during your pregnancy that you have never done before. I know you're not doing that. I know you're not doing some handstands and flips during pregnancy. I know you're not. So I don't even need to tell you that stuff, right? But just in case you needed a reminder, you just had it. All right. All right. So those types of activities you don't want to do in pregnancy. You don't want to do things. And I know y'all ain't playing touch football, right? I know you're not playing football during your pregnancy. I know you're not doing that. So some of these things are quite obvious, right? But almost everything else you basically can do if you were doing before pregnancy and you do not have a high risk issue. So always clear with your doctor based on your personal health and the health of your pregnancy and your risk factors if there are things you should not be doing that another pregnant woman may be able to do. You are also, I know y'all are not going into that hot yoga and heating because you know that you cannot be exposed to high temperatures. I know you know that because we talk about fevers and pregnancy all the time. So I don't even have to tell y'all that. All right. But that being said, what can you do? Some of the basic things if you have not exercised before, and that's okay. That's okay. Don't beat up on yourself. It is a new start, a brand new day. And hopefully, whatever routine you start now, you will continue for your entire life. Because a lot of these recommendations are the recommendations for regular non pregnant adults anyway. So, certainly, if you want to go swimming, I love swimming as an, if I didn't have black girl hair issues, I would totally love to at least be in the water. I'm not the greatest swimmer. Listen, I had to graduate. I had to take a swim test to graduate from college, but I'm still not the greatest swimmer. And I don't really love uh, deep waters like that, or, things that be in the water like that. But as I recognize the health benefit of swimming, I think swimming is one of the best exercise for anyone, especially those with joint issues. If your joints already hurting you, get in the water. It takes some of that pressure off the joints. Cycling has never been one of my favorite things to do, but some of y'all love to go cycling, so go cycle. Stationary bikes are great ways, so you're less likely to fall and bump into things and fall over as you do on the outside. But if you've always been cycling, you got to handle, you know how to handle yourself, you know how to do the tricks of the trade, then guess what? Go ahead and go for a bike ride. But if you are not the most coordinated person and you know who you are, cycle at home on a stationary bike. You don't have to get a Peloton. Ain't nobody got funds like that all the time, but get a basic stationary bike and you can go ahead and do that. Walking, I love walking as an exercise. And certainly if your neighborhood is not the safest neighborhood, this may not be a great option for you, or unless you go to a location like a school that has an open track that is safe that you can walk on. But walking is such a great exercise. If you're going hiking, make sure that you have proper footwear on, because with pregnancy, your center of gravity has changed. You're more likely to fall. Your joints are looser. Okay. So unless you have really good footwear, you may be putting yourself at risk for falling. So walking is great. I think it's great for your mental health. I think it's a great stress reliever. A lot of my patients use walking, and you want to do your exercise at a moderate intensity. So we want that heart rate to go up. We don't want to just casually walk and go for a stroll. That's great, but it's not really going to do what we want the exercise to do for your health. We want the heart rate to go up. We want you to sweat a little. You may have to sweat a little. So if you have hair issues, you may want to choose a hairstyle that will allow you to sweat a little bit, because we need to sweat. That's the whole point of it. We want to burn those calories and cause a little bit of a drenched, so you feel like, oh, I did it. Look at this sweat. Yes, that's what we want. We want that sweat when you exercise. So definitely walking, running if you've been a runner before. Jump rope is fine to do during pregnancy. Okay, dancing. Y'all know how I feel about dancing. Okay, dancing is one of the best exercises there are. And the people be shading on dancing like we just having fun. Do you know how much cardio happens during a dance? Okay, you put on one of them old school Janet Jackson songs and you try to work out and doing her choreo, and you will realize. Put on them TikTok videos. Instead of just sitting down and watch them, try to repeat them. The more activity you do like that, you'll be surprised how quickly you get your exercise requirements done. Okay. And yoga, modified yoga, make sure you avoid poses that causes you to fall. Modified yoga is a great way to exercise. Make sure you're wearing loose, comfortable clothing. You're in an environment that won't cause you to overheat, and definitely hydrate. I can't say that anymore. We know that if we are dehydrated, we're more likely to contract. So we don't want any other issues to happen as a result of us exercising. You want to make sure you have enough snacks and calories before, so you have an energy supply. And if you are feeling really, really fatigued, then you may want to correct that issue, figure out what the underlying issue is first before you start a exercise regimen. So for those with severe anemia, correct that anemia first, and then you can pursue your exercise regimen. And certainly anyone with high risk issues, if you have a weakened cervix, if you are carrying twins and triplets, if you have placental issues like placenta previa, you are not the best candidate to be exercising. If you have bleeding issues that have been being monitored, if you broke your water early, you're not the best you're not a candidate to be exercising, at least the type of exercise that we're talking about. But if you are on modified bed rest and things like that, there are certain ways to keep the arms could go. Your body below may not be moving, but your arms can do a little bit of something. You can dance it out. Okay, get a little bit of movement, because movement is so key for the body. That being said, for those who are post postpartum, post C-section, post-vaginal, post-vaginal assisted with forceps, vacuums, whatever your story is and your journey was. Movement is still really, really key in the postpartum period. So you want to make sure, because why movement decreases the risk, it improves pain, improves mental health, decreases the risk of infection because you have that blood flowing. Nothing is stable, things are flowing. And on the same note, we know that in the postpartum period, women are more likely to have blood clots. So that movement really helps to minimize all of these potential outcomes. For those who are dealing with preeclampsia before pregnancy, during delivery, or whatever the case may be, you may need to sit down for a little bit. But for those who are chronically hypertensive, getting that heart movement is really key for you. So getting that heart workout, getting that cardio, building that muscle that we call the heart is really, really key for you. And that is key. If you had preeclampsia in your pregnancy, your long term is that you're more likely to deal with renal issues, renal disease, chronic hypertension. You're more likely to have heart disease. Okay, brain, you're more likely to have heart disease. So you want to make sure that you, after your postpartum period and you're out of that zone that's concerning, that you're able to continue a healthy lifestyle for life. That is the goal, full life. Now, keep in mind, I've shared this before. 75%, one study showed 75% of women had still their pregnancy weight 1 year later. Now, it does take time to lose the weight. It took several months for you to gain the weight. And we know that in the first trimester, we're not really expecting a lot of weight gain, usually 2 to 4 pounds, sometimes 6 pounds at most in that first part. And then later in the pregnancy, it'll go up to about a pound per week, depending on where you started from. That's a whole other conversation. We'll deal with that another time. But that being said, you want to make sure that whatever lifestyle you incorporate, especially as the first time you've ever been healthy. Again, your oxygen first. Make sure we continue that healthy lifestyle for the rest of your life. For the entire rest of your life. You're more likely to lose the weight. You're more likely to change the mindset of your kids that health and fitness is normal. It's just what we do. It's how we live. And that attitude can only come from you and your perspective about health. So definitely during the postpartum period, you want to keep moving. And then before you really start a health regimen, now keep in mind, postpartum, you're going to be lifting 7 pounds, 8 pounds. Some of y'all started out lifting 9 and 10 pounds because your babies were big, right? So you need strength. You can't have a weak upper body. And I'm not one who likes upper body workout, but I understand the importance of it, so I do it. So we know that lifting a baby is heavy. Okay, if you have problems lifting a bag of sugar, then you would totally understand what I'm talking about. Lifting a baby that is growing and becomes 20 pounds and becomes 25 pounds and becomes your toddler, your preschooler that you're still lifting. We're not judging, but you're still lifting, right? Is heavy weight. And if your body's not able to carry that load, you may run into some issues. So you want to make sure that you're strong. You want to make sure you're agile, because guess what? Those toddlers, they be slipping through your legs, running through things, running here, running there. If you don't have the cardiovascular strength to chase after toddler, you are in trouble. And we have seen these videos of moms like the toddler is gone. Like, how a toddler beat you? How a toddler chase you? You don't have the speed to chase after your toddler. Oh, girl, we gotta work out. Okay. So how many times have we seen that video where the toddler takes off and the mom is huffing and puffing, trying to catch up with a toddler? Their feet only go about that fast. Okay. So for all these reasons, and you're carrying their accessories, their baby carrier, their I was about to say their luggage, their baby bag, and all these things that you have to carry with you. One, you want to know what good form is, especially when you're breastfeeding and things like that. So you don't do all these abnormal things and then you look like this after baby number 1 or baby number 2. So you want to learn from your professional fitness people and your exercise coaches and your health coaches and whomever you utilize in your village, that you have proper form and you're able to do these things appropriately. And that being said, you continue with the flexibility. Remember, the body is still loose. It takes a while before those joints kind of go back to where they used to be. So your body's still loose in the postpartum period. So you want to be mindful of that. And especially during the pregnancy period, you don't want to overstretch because your body will go, it'll go. You push it, it'll go because those joints are loose. But you can also injure yourself if you excessively extend or flex in certain directions, depending on the joint. So you want to be mindful of that. Towards the end of the pregnancy, also in the office, we talk about preparing the pelvis. That's a whole other video. Maybe we'll get one of our our doulas and yoga teachers to come share about those specifics, but we do prepare the hips and the pelvis for birth with certain types of that exercise and activity. I'm not going to talk about that here because it's beyond the scope and we're going to be talking forever if I talk about everything. But keep that in mind that your exercise should change as you prepare for childbirth. It's a little bit of a different regimen that is more helpful for childbirth as opposed to what you're doing to stay fit during the first and second trimester and the first half of the third trimester. As you finish your postpartum period, you also want to be mindful of continuing that regimen. So how do you do that when you're a new mom and you're basically everything you do is about the baby? Well, everything you do should be not directly about the baby. You should be about you and a healthier you. So again, it starts with the mindset. A healthier you means a healthier child or children. And so that bonding time you spend with the baby on the couch, or you're sitting down on the floor and you're playing with the baby because the baby is up and awake. Utilize and incorporate exercise into that. So baby thinks you're just playing with him or her, but you're actually exercising and they're watching and you're modeling for them, right? Using that 7-pound baby or the 7-pound child is a good weight lift, right? So you lift that up a couple of sets, the baby thinks, oh, this is fun. She's lifting me up. Let's do that again. 12-pounder, do that again. That's great, Mom. Do that again. 20-pounder. Okay, 20 pounds is a little rough, but some of y'all are strong enough to do it. So if you utilize the baby, the weight of the baby as a weight, instead of buying those kettlebells and stuff, certainly don't shake your baby because the pediatrician is going to kill me. Okay, don't shake your baby at all. We're not talking about shaking and dangerous things. We're talking about gentle movements, right? That you do anyway, but you're doing it intentionally so that you can build strength and be more resistant. So incorporate your kids when you go to the park. Let them run around, run after them. They're gonna tire out. You're gonna have a better evening because they're gonna be exhausted. By the time you go home, they'll be asleep early. Guess what? You have yourself a better evening. You got your workout done. The kids are in bed at a normal time. For those kids that tend to stay up late, you put them down earlier because they're exhausted from running around the park and you're exhausted from running around with them, but you got your cardio in. And so everybody's happy, everybody's healthier. And this is how we survive. Okay. All right. So I hope this information, we talked about quite a bit we still have not talked about. But guess what? We can't put everything into one video. So I hope that this has been good enough for you to get some nuggets for everyone out there. That being said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for always being on our episode. We love our village that supports us continuously. Thank you for watching each and every one of our episodes. So if you like this episode, I know Dr. Trista talked about exercise from a physical therapy perspective. So gain some nuggets from her video as well. I'm going to link it to this video to make it easier for you to see it. And also, thank you for supporting us on our other platforms. If you have not visited us on Instagram, this is a great time to go check us out on Instagram. Okay, that's when we drop all these quick nuggets. So you may not have time for a long video like this all the time, but maybe you have time for like a 1-minute video. That's where you catch those 1-minute nuggets. Take it, chew it up, digest it, and keep going for the day. All right. And we are happy to help your health be healthier. So hit us up at healthybump.club. And on here on YouTube, you will see all our videos on our Healthy Bump Club YouTube channel. And also, when you're done with all of this, and look out for our posts when we do our webinars and things like that, where we have more intimate conversations where you can ask your personalized questions and have your questions answered on the spot. So we will be doing more of those coming up. And when you're done and you're like, you know what? I so love supporting this platform. I want to be part of the village. I'm glad you asked. So be part of the village by, guess what, purchasing our apparel. Let folks know that there is a village out there that is ready to support them and help them through their womanhood, through their pregnancy, their pre-pregnancy planning, and through their postpartum period, and just through life in general. We have all the conversations that are important to you as women, as or any member of our village. Okay, women X, women with an X. Okay, so make sure you check us out on all these different venues. And we love, love, love you guys for watching. And this is Dr. T, and I'm signing out. And guess what? I'll see you next episode.